Dear all, this presentation is about Finnish monitoring project of green bridges and especially the possible effects of human disturbance on ungulates on those overpasses. Later here, I will use the term multi-use overpass because these structures are actually meant both for human and animal use. My name is Milla Niemi, and I will give this talk on behalf of the first author, Anomaa, who was not able to travel to the conference. First, a short project background. There are about 15 green bridges or multi-use overpasses in Finland, but there has been no systematic monitoring so far. So, to produce some basic information, the Finnish Transport Infrastructure Agency ordered a monitoring project. And this project was implemented by a small company, Latvasilmu osuuskunta, and I was responsible for the work. After the project, my master student Anomaa used the data in her thesis. When looking at our setup, we selected 10 multi-use overpasses, which were located in southern Finland, which is the most fragmented part of the country, with, for example, several fenced highways. We used only one camera trap in the middle of each bridge, or actually, originally we tried to use 3 cameras per one overpass, but as they produce several hundred thousands of pictures in total, we just were not able to handle the whole data. Our monitoring period started in late 2019 and lasted 1 year. The monitored overpasses differed quite much. However, there was always a dirt road meant for human use, and the rest of the bridge was covered with vegetation. And the height and density of that vegetation varied a lot, and mainly because of the age differences among bridges. During our monitoring period, there were more than 2,000 of animal crossings. And as we use data only from one camera, we can't actually say if animals really crossed the overpass and just not turned back. However, since the camera was in the middle of the bridge, we suppose that animals also crossed that structure. We found 11 wild mammal species using structures during the monitoring period. And the most numerous was white-tailed deer, followed by roe deer and moose. Wild boars used 2 structures. In addition, medium-sized mammals, such as hares or red foxes, used overpasses as well. Also, European lynx used almost each bridge, and during our study period, there was 1 crossing made by brown bear. We know that outside that period, there were also more brown bear crossings. In Ida's thesis, we wanted to check the effects of human disturbance on ungulates on those multi-use overpasses. First, we asked, do ungulates react differently to non-motorized human disturbance, such as hikers, than to motorized human disturbance like cars or ATVs. In addition, we wanted to check if there is a spatiotemporal avoidance between ungulates and humans. First, we had to clean the data a bit. In one overpass, we were not able to detect human crossings, so we just dropped this overpass from the final dataset. Like in many camera trap studies, also we had problems with the quality of the data, especially in the summertime, when there were a lot of false pictures because of the wind and the sun. And this is why we decided to use only data collected in autumn and winter months. Then we used only pictures of ungulates or human, not, for example, medium-sized mammals. So in the final data, there were more than 5,000 crossings, and about 15% of them were made by ungulates. And more than half of those crossings made by ungulates were made by white-tailed deer. It wasn't a big surprise that the timing of crossings was differently distributed. Human crossings peaked at noon, while ungulates crossed overpasses, especially in afternoon, which is equal to sunset in winter months. We then calculated the time between human activity and ungulate crossings. So basically calculated that how many hours and minutes took that an ungulate crossed an overpass after the hiker or a car, for example. We found that it took longer after a non-motorized activity, such as hikers, than after a motorized activity, such as cars. We looked at possible spatiotemporal avoidance by testing if an ungulate, for example a moose, followed moose faster than a moose followed a human. We found that for moose, it took longer time to cross after a human than a moose, so the moose was the only species showing a spatiotemporal avoidance in this dataset. The most likely explanation why we didn't find the same for white-tailed deer or roe deer is that both of those small ungulates are more used to live in cultural landscapes with human presence than moose. Then some conclusions. First, those multi-use overpasses we followed were used by several wild mammal species. However, it seems that human disturbance can affect the behavior of animals. Our study could be seen very preliminary, but I think that our results indicated that the human disturbance needs to be considered with severity when planning multi-use overpasses. Our dataset was too small to draw any conclusions about other species groups, but based on other studies, it seems that especially large predators might be affected by human disturbance. Now it's time to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them, and if I am not able to do that, we can contact Ida for more information. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a bit strange seeing yourself up on the screen, isn't it?
Yeah, this is very odd.
Any questions for Ida? Yes, one here.
Yes, please.
Yes. Did you think of using deep learning to work with images so that you could screen better? Have you
Imploring?
deep learning, artificial intelligence?
Oh, yeah. And I'm very jealous because I have heard about that Swedish project. Your results would be very good. Is it working? No. Yeah, great. Artificial intelligence, it would be great support. It would help us to handle bigger sides of the data, but it's always money. That was just very small project we had limited resources. So here it wouldn't be possible to learn algorithms. But I hope that in the future we will be able to use them also in Finnish studies. Hope so.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes? Wait, yeah. For questions, it's very important to use the microphone so we can record it.
Yes, I wonder if there was any snowmobiles at these sites too, and if there were any differences considering snowmobiles.
There were only a few of them. One reason is that the year was actually a little bit exceptional. Usually, even in southern Finland, we have kind of a proper winter with snow, but during our study period, there were practically no snow, which of course means that no snowmobiles. Studies in northern Finland, that would be totally different, and I have heard that you have made some snowmobile-related studies as well. Some ATVs we had in our data, but the number of different vehicles, it was, well, pretty limited. So we just split the data as human and motorized activities. So just, yeah.
Thank you. That's all.
Yep.
Thanks very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ida.